What is going on to all my movie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new early movie review, and today we're discussing a new psychological thriller written and directed by Guillermo del Toro by the name of Nightmare Alley, a film I'm really excited to share my thoughts with you all and let you know if it's worth checking out in theaters on December 17th in this spoiler-free review. Before we break it all down, quick call to action. Make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you all are new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, and as you can see on the screen now, if you enjoyed this review, we'll make sure to like and share the review, and also leave some thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you all were excited for this film, but more importantly, once you've seen it, let's talk about it all, from the direction, the writing, the performances. What were some of your favorite elements? What were things that didn't work for you all? And since we're talking Guillermo, what's some of your favorite films of his? Let's discuss it all in the comments below. So kicking this thing off with my positives, starting off with the writer and director of this film, Guillermo del Toro, who I'm personally a fan of. Not all of his movies resonate with me per se, but I always like the practical effects, the aesthetics, the creative choices he makes in his films, the way he throws in these tragic love stories, and all the stuff I love about him as a writer and director are truly highlighted in this film. I personally think from a direction standpoint and from a production standpoint, this is one of his best looking films to date. I just love how much attention to detail he has as a director. This film takes place in the late 30s, early 40s, and this is one of those movies that looks like it was a film that was shot during that era. From the set design, the costuming, the way that he directs these great actors, it's just so much passion in this film. I just love the way this film comes together, and this is a noir thriller, psychological thriller, and it doesn't have like the traditional noir storytelling beats where you have a detective looking for someone who murdered someone, which there's a little bit of that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in his writing of this film, but just the way that he used the lighting cues to create this dramatic flair, whether it was kind of putting the light on the actor's eyes, it's just so much love and passion and just such a flawless direction by Guillermo del Toro, and we'll talk about his writing here in a second. But again, going back to his direction of directing this great ensemble cast led by Bradley Cooper, who plays Stan, and Stan is a very manipulative character who comes from a mysterious background, stumbles upon this carnival group of people. He works his way up to gaining their trust, learning the tricks of the trade, and manipulating the situation. I thought that Bradley Cooper was literally on top of his game, but just seeing him navigate his way to learning these carny folks, who is led by Willem Dafoe, who's fantastic. He meets Toni Collette and how he kind of manipulates her. I thought she was great. And seriously, when you look at this cast, especially the carny group in the first half of the film, these are all Academy Award winning actors, nominated actors, and this was just a team effort. No one was trying to outshine each other. They just played their roles perfectly. So I love the cast in the first half, and literally this cast was literally like Christmas to me because it was the gift that kept giving. I forgot that one of my favorite actors in this generation was in this film, and Cate Blanchett, and she is a scene stealer. She's more involved in the second half of the film because she kind of gets her way into working with Stan's character, and they kind of manipulate rich people to take advantage of their emotions, and Cate Blanchett is doing her thing. Like I mentioned, she's one of my favorite actresses in this generation, and she is just flawless in this movie. So she was a standout. I mentioned Bradley Cooper. Rooney Mara is another actress that was in this film that I thought was great. So the cast was just absolutely fantastic. But let me go back to Guillermo and talking more particularly about the writing and the story of this film without giving too many things away, because there's a lot of great twists and turns. But what I love about his stories, and in this story in particular, he likes to focus on kind of the underdogs and people that get forgotten about. And you kind of get that in the first half of the film with the carnival people and how they kind of come together and look out for another. And when you have someone like a Bradley Cooper stand and kind of disrupts that love, you kind of see that angle in the film. And speaking of love, there is a love story in this film, and not from a traditional sense. Yes, there's a love story between Bradley Cooper and another character that I thought was a little rushed and didn't feel too fleshed out, but there's also a love story for Bradley Cooper because he's so in love with his abilities to manipulate people, it clouds his judgment. So I love how he's able to implement those themes in the story and just seeing this unfold. I mentioned how it's a noir that doesn't have like traditional, there's a killer on the loose, there is a detective on the scene, but just looking at how Stan is somewhat asked upon to discover people's lost love is kind of that noir vibe. So I kind of just love how Guillermo put a twist on things that we come to used to and looking in that genre and add his own flair to it. So transitioning to my criticisms, I mentioned a love story that I didn't feel like was all that fleshed out between two particular characters, and I wish it was just a little bit, I wish it was a different love angle, because there is a little bit of a love triangle that's introduced in the film, and I almost wish that that particular character could have carried on for the rest of the film, as well as I mentioned William Dafoe is fantastic. I wish that he was in the film a little bit more than he was, but hey, it's an ensemble cast and you get what you give in the movie. But the love story could have been fleshed out more, and in the second half we kind of explore that love story, and the film kind of slows down a little bit because the first act is fantastic, and the third act and the way this film ends is just one of the best endings this year in my personal opinion. But in that second half, I will say a little bit of pacing issues, and it's not as compelling and not as engaging as the first half and the third act of this film. So before I give you all my overall thoughts and let you know if it's worth checking out, if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Overall, Nightmare Alley is one of the best looking films this year from a production standpoint. Guillermo del Toro was on top of his game of creating this noir, this atmospheric vibe. There's so many great creative choices. The lighting, the production, and again, the performances were just absolutely fantastic. There are some slow paces in the second half of the film. There are certain relationships I just wish were fleshed out a little bit more in the film, but overall, this is such a great noir psychological thriller, and I highly recommend you all give this a watch when it becomes available on December 17th. With that being said, I'm gonna give this film a solid 4 out of 5. It does suck that it comes out on the day that Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, but hey, after you've seen that film 15 times, I highly recommend you all give this a watch, and when you do, let me know your pros, your cons, what were your favorite moments, your favorite actors, what were things that didn't work for you all, and if you all thought this was one of Guillermo del Toro's best films, let's talk about that in the comments. If you stuck around to this point in the video, I appreciate you all. Before you leave, again, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments, and of course hit that notification bell, that way you don't miss any of my future content. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope you're staying safe. As you all can see on the screen now, subscribe to my channel, check out my other content, and we'll catch you in the next video.